I would not be stunned if they won tonight. I would be floored. If they win, I will retire on the spot.
He's got it, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series.
All jokes aside, the Diamondbacks have done the unthinkable. So many people expected this team to be decent and maybe even make the playoffs or the wild card. But no, they outperformed everyone's expectations for them and officially have made it to the World Series. They came back in a series against the Phillies team that looked really solid until the Diamondbacks struck in the last 2 games to save their season in a series that seemed pretty much over by everyone's expectations. Everyone expected a Phillies-Rangers World Series, especially since the Phillies had home field advantage for the last 2 games. And if you don't understand how hard it is to play in an atmosphere where you're not the home field team, here's a great visual representation of what it's like. The Diamondbacks had to go through so many solid teams to get to that World Series. I mean, you had to face the Brewers first of all, then you had to go through a Dodgers team that had 100+ wins and a ton of all-stars and kind of a solid roster. They swept the Dodgers 3-0, which led them to the Phillies series, and fortunately a lot of people saw it as a fluke. Everyone thought, yeah man, the Dodgers just didn't have their pitching right now and their stars just weren't hitting. Like Mookie had a really bad series and so did Freddie Freeman. Everyone thought that this Phillies team would sweep the Diamondbacks and make a repeat to the World Series. Now, one of the first times the Diamondbacks eventually did face the Phillies, they did get blown out, and a lot of people thought this series was over. The Diamondbacks weren't going to have any ways to come back after such a defeating loss, and boy was Philly wrong. The Diamondbacks ended up winning the series with their young core, and a lot of people didn't expect this core to have that much talent, and here we are. The Diamondbacks have officially made it to the World Series. If I'm not mistaken, as I'm recording this video, I believe I saw an article written by The Athletic that said the Diamondbacks, I think, had a 0.8 to 2% chance to even make the World Series at the start of the season. Man, it is crazy how statistically bizarre the Diamondbacks are this season. First of all, their team is insanely young, and they have a bunch of veterans on that squad, which I'll talk about later in this video, but still, the Diamondbacks were not supposed to be here, and here we are. And honestly, at this point, you're probably asking yourself, what makes this team so special? How did they achieve this accomplishment? Well, today, let's talk about it, because I believe it all starts out with the outfield. I think I was watching the broadcast in game 6 or 7, and they called the outfielders of the Diamondbacks a pack of gazelles, if I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong. I could be blowing smoke here, but let's go with that. Let's start with Corbin Carroll, the guy, the cornerstone of this Diamondbacks team. I mean, he's the rookie of the year. Potentially, it's probably going to happen. Corbin Carroll in the regular season had decent numbers, a 285 average, a slug of 506, and a ton of stolen bases, 53 to be exact. Corbin Carroll immediately impacted his team, and in the postseason alone, he is outshining his regular season stats. Corbin Carroll is currently batting a 295 with 13 hits, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 9 runs scored in the last 12 games he's had in the postseason. This is a rookie, by the way. This dude is 23. He's a year older than me, and he's only going to be in the league for the next maybe 10+ years. I don't think you should be scared of him at all, to be honest. But besides Corbin Carroll, you do have a ton of other outfielders like Tommy Pham, which was an amazing trade decision by the Diamondbacks at the deadline. Tommy Pham was on a Mets team that was failing, and he was one of the only shining stars. So props to you, the Diamondbacks, for getting this pick, because Tommy Pham has proven with some big home runs in the regular season and in the postseason that he is worth the value, and he really wants that World Series ring. You also have someone like Gurriel Jr., who seemed a little rough around the edges before the Diamondbacks got him, but slowly he's had a pretty decent season. Alongside him, you had someone like Alek Thomas, which of course plays center field and pinch hits here and there with someone like Pavin Smith. The core of outfielders you have, of course, relies heavily on Corbin Carroll, but all of them together really kind of solidify that outfield and have defense enough that where the pitchers feel comfortable if a ball gets hit out there. I mean, a lot of pitchers are scared of their outfield, Yankees, but in general, I think this is one of the big things that really helped the Diamondbacks get to where they are in this postseason. Now, another thing I really kind of want to highlight, because I don't know if many people are talking about it, but the Diamondbacks did do a trade at the start, or actually no, December 23rd. I remember the exact day because I made a video on it. The Diamondbacks made a trade with the Blue Jays to get Gabriel Moreno, which is the starting catcher of the Diamondbacks. Everyone thought this was going to be a win-win trade for both teams, and each teams would be happy and they would both make the playoffs and get very, very far. Yeah, so Gabriel Moreno has definitely proved his value at this postseason. He is one of those shining stars of this Diamondbacks roster, and in the postseason, this dude is a rookie, by the way. 279 average with 12 hits, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 3 runs scored in 12 games. This is insane. This is insane, first of all, for a catcher alone. If you have a catcher that could do really well defensively, that's what the league looks for. But if he could also hit and he's super young, this guy is going to grow into a stud if he's not one already. If you're the Diamondbacks fans, of course, you're going to be happy you guys traded for this guy. Of course, it was kind of sad to see Dalton Varsho go, but still, this is an amazing pickup and he's doing extremely well this postseason. He is one of the catalysts that got the Diamondbacks to where they are. Speaking of catalysts, we cannot deny the facts that Ketel Marte has solely made this Diamondbacks team 10 times better. This dude is on an on-base and hit streak in the postseason. This guy has a record at the moment, and he's continually showing why he is a machine on the bases. Like I said, at this point, you know the Diamondbacks are running on all cylinders. Of course, you have a ton of other infielders, like I said, the veterans. You got Ketel Marte, which is an extra base machine. You got Evan Longoria, which, you know, hits the ball here and there, but he's a veteran on this team. The whole point of this Diamondbacks roster when it was constructed is to let these young guys play, but also have some guys in the background that have been in the league for a very long time to be like, hey, maybe we should calm down on this, or maybe you should attempt to hit the ball a different way. I think this roster has constructed a perfect storm to even get to the point where they're at right now. They're a fast team. They can steal bases when they want, hit for extra bases when they choose, and make people believe that they're worth the amount of time and investment as a franchise and the time that it takes to even get to a World Series. Now, like I said, I've only really talked about their hitting so far. Their pitching is still very, very good. Personally, I had faith that this was the year Zach Gallen would outshine every pitcher in the league, and unfortunately, I did place a bet that he would win his Cy Young this year. Unfortunately, I'm wrong, but Zach Gallen is still a decent, decent is maybe the wrong word to use, a very good pitcher in the MLB. Zach Gallen has had kind of a rough postseason here and there. I mean, he's been hit a lot, but Zach Gallen is still a very solid player. I love his after game tweets, his, talking crap here and there with every other team, even the Phillies fan base after they won. And also, besides Zach Gallen, who do you have? Merrill Kelly, which has been a kind of shining star for this Diamondbacks rotation. He's been very, very solid. And also, speaking of solid, let's talk about Brandon, because everyone thought Brandon would be the guy that would give up a ton of runs because he's a rookie and he had a very high ERA in the regular season, but Brandon has been super solid. He's a guy that you have to be scared of. The Diamondbacks have no one that you could be like, oh yeah, we're hitting a ton of hits off this guy this game. He also shut out the Dodgers, by the way, which everyone thought was a fluke, and in the first game versus the Phillies, he also shut them out as well. This guy is coming in to pitch, man. He is serious about winning, and he wants to prove why he's a good player on this Diamondbacks team. Now, I would like to say, the Diamondbacks in general have everything you want right now. They have really good rotational pitching. They have people that are willing to hit the ball. They have a good defense. The momentum, the youth, the confidence of the Diamondbacks team is what really has carried them to the World Series in 2023. Now, can that all combine together to take down the new big dogs in Texas? Let me know in the comment section down below who you got, the Rangers, the Diamondbacks in this World Series. I want to know your guys' opinions. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe. Have a great day or night. Have a good one. Bye.